We have a shocking Pittsburgh Penguins update to go over today, and this has major implications moving forward because they've made a few call-ups with just a handful of games left in the season, and we also get a crazy injury update that we're going to break down in this video. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Penguins Digest, but before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 68% of you who watch these videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with your Pittsburgh Penguins, because the season is not done yet, there is still a lot going on, especially with the AHL as well, which we'll touch on in this video. It's free. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I just want to mention off the top, Remington will be back soon. I'm just filling in for Remington. He'll be back on the channel. I see all the support and the comments for Remington. He's been doing a fantastic job on the channel, so shout out to him, and he will be back soon. So just wanted to address that off the top, but let's get right into it. A couple updates from the Pittsburgh Penguins today, and one heartbreaking update in terms of an injury, and we're gonna get into that in a second, but very unfortunate news. But first of all, this happened this morning. The Pittsburgh Penguins have recalled not one, but 3 players on an emergency basis from the AHL. And the reason for that is because of some injury updates we got. So we'll get into that as well right now. And one of them is Erik McGroarty. He's out for the season with an injury that has ended his first NHL season. And I thought it's been a pretty good one when he's played at the NHL level. And he said, or not him, but Mike Sullivan, Coach Mike Sullivan said on Erik McGroarty, it's disappointing because he was playing very well and we thought it was a great experience for him to get into NHL games. Totally agree with that. I mean, in a lost season like this where you're not going to make the playoffs, I think it's a good thing to get this guy in there, getting that NHL experience, especially playing on a wing with Sidney Crosby as his centerman. That's fantastic. So we're hopeful that Rutgers' injury will come around. We're hopeful that Wilkes-Barre will play long enough that he has an opportunity to help them continue to have success down there. That's an important experience for him as well. So one thing that I'm taking from this quote is that this is not necessarily a season-ending injury for McGroarty, right? This is a season-ending injury in terms of his time with the Pittsburgh Penguins. There's only a handful of games left in the season, but in terms of his entire season, having to get surgery or anything like that, doesn't seem like that's the case. If Wilkes-Barre Scranton goes to round 2 or to round 3, it looks like he can rejoin them and actually go on a little bit of a run here in the AHL playoffs. And Wilkes-Barre Scranton has had a good run this season. This is a team that is looking to win possibly a championship this year. So he can rejoin the team. So it doesn't seem like his season's done by any means, but his time with the Penguins this season has come to an end. And that's unfortunate. He was playing very well, I thought. So, again, unfortunate. And we also get some other updates from Coach Mike Sullivan, and we'll get to the call-ups in a second, but this is more, the bigger news, I think, with some of the guys being out of the lineup. A couple seasons are done for a couple of the Penguins, and it's not just Erik McGroarty whose season is done. It's Noel Acciari. His season's done. Blake Lizotte, his season is done due to injury. Matt Nieto is also done due to injury, and Tommy Novak will miss the rest of the season due to injury. And a couple of these guys have had pretty good seasons, right? So it is unfortunate to see that they are going to be missing the rest of the season. I thought Blake Lizotte had a pretty good season personally, right, this year. So it's going to be exciting to see what he can do maybe going into next year. Noel Acciari has been a good depth player as well. Don't expect too much out of him. But the biggest one here for me, of course, is McGroarty this season. Unfortunate that his season, with the Penguins at least, comes to an end. But again, he'll be back with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins if they go further. But to get back to this, the Penguins did make a couple moves today on an emergency basis from the AHL. You got Emil Bemstrom. He is back. He was sent down and put on waivers just last week and went back down to the AHL, and a couple other guys as well. And we'll get into their stats. This is Bemstrom's stats we've talked about over the last little while. He has spent some time with the Pittsburgh Penguins. This season, 13 games. He only has 1 point. He has 1 assist in those 13 games, so nothing crazy. He's been called up. Again, he has some NHL experience. He played 24 games last year. So, this is a guy who's going to come in pretty maybe seamlessly to the lineup. It's not going to be a huge adjustment. They have a bunch of young guys in the lineup right now, too. We'll get to what the lineup looks like heading into their next game as well as we close out the season. But Panamarov has also been called up from the AHL. This is a guy who's had a sneaky and quiet good season. I mean, he is a little bit older, not necessarily a prospect. He's only 23, but not necessarily a prospect by any means. But he has 40 points this season in 54 4 games in the AHL. So this is a guy who could possibly make some noise. He's a former second-round pick in 2020. Could possibly make some noise at the NHL level with just a handful of games left. And it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. And Puustinen, he is called up as well. He played 47 games so far this season in the AHL. He has 35 points. So a couple guys who are not quite a point-a-game player in the AHL, but some good offensive production from both of them. And this guy is 25 years old, so not at all a prospect whatsoever. He's been in the system for quite a while, handful of years now at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do at the NHL level with just a couple games left in this NHL regular season. So that's who was called up to the NHL. Again, Rucker McGroarty injury. So let me know what you think about the call-ups today. I think it's interesting. Bemstrom, I'm not expecting too much from him. You know what you have in him, especially at the NHL level. The other two, I'm interested to see what they're going to be able to do. And I think this is a bit of a test to see, if they get into a couple games here, what can you do at the NHL level as the season kind of winds down here? So should be pretty fun to see them in action. And again, lots of injuries there. So let me know what you think about the call-ups. Let me know what you think about the injuries as well. And we'll get into what the lineup kind of looks like heading into the end of the season here. So as you can see here, Kuvanen is up there with Crosby now, and Kuvanen is taking over Rucker McGroarty's spot there on the top line. So amazing opportunity for him. I know he's more of a Evgeni Malkin guy. We talked about that in a previous video, but playing with Sidney Crosby is not bad either. Obviously, Rust, the trusty sidekick there to Sidney Crosby on the top line. Danton Heinen's up there on the left wing. You've got Malkin down the middle on the second line. That's a pretty interesting second line. I think they can do some damage the rest of the season. I'm going to be interested to see how they kind of play together. Raquel has been playing some time at center, hasn't been that great, so he's back on the wing as well. Connor Dewar has been pretty good since coming over from Toronto. He's on the third line with Kevin Hayes. And Puustinen gets an opportunity there on the third line instead of a fourth line role. And then you got a fourth line of entirely Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins who've just been recently called up. So again, I think this is fun. You got, your top lines are pretty constructed there. You know what you have in them over the last little while. And then your last two lines there, minus Connor Dewar and Hayes up the middle, there's a lot of moving pieces there that, have just been called up from Wilkes-Barre Scranton. So I think it could be some fun to see what they can do with, again, with the season winding down here, what they do with this opportunity, and then take the experience that they get the next couple days and couple games, bring it back down to the AHL, hopefully go on a little bit of a run there. So should be fun to watch. And then again, the defense pairings, not much has changed there. You got Grzelcyk, Kris Letang, and then of course Connor Timmins, Erik Karlsson, and Graves and Shea back there on the back end. So it's going to be interesting to see. And again, Mike Sullivan said that Tommy Novak, Blake Lizotte, and a few other updates before we wrap up here, because there are a couple people out of the lineup that you may have noticed in that lineup because it's full of Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. Blake Lizotte, Noel Acciari, Matt Nieto, and Rucker McGroarty all out for the regular season, all done for this season, at least with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And Pierre-Olivier Joseph skated this morning, and Phil Tomasino is still in concussion protocol. So no timeline, I guess, at this point for Phil Tomasino. He's been pretty good since coming over from Nashville as well. And Pierre-Olivier Joseph looks like he could be nearing a return before the season wraps up. But let me know what you think in the comments about some of the moves that they made today. Obviously, season-ending injuries, but I am hopeful that the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins are going to go on a bit of a run, and Rucker McGroarty's season is not done yet. He's probably going to rejoin them in the AHL and take everything he's learned from the NHL and hopefully go on a bit of a run, maybe win a championship. That would be pretty fun to watch down there in the AHL, and they got the goaltending to do it, so it's going to be fun to watch. Let me know what you think, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can get to stay up to date with everything Pittsburgh Penguins.